right, guys, so this is your Unit 1 test review, and you will be taking your test shortly. So here's all of the answers in case you were absent, or if you didn't get to a problem, you can check it and ask for understanding. For number 1, it says solve the following equation for the variable k. Now remember, if you need to draw your bars, you can draw your bars. If you don't need them, don't draw them. Okay, step 1 is to distribute. There's no distributing in this problem. Step 2 is to combine like terms. The left side, nothing can combine. The right side, nothing can combine. Step 3 is to move the smaller variable. Well, the smaller variable is 2k, so we're going to move it by changing its sign. We just subtract it, and that gives me 6 equals 4k minus 3. Okay, step 4 is to add or subtract the constant, so I'm going to plus the 3. That leaves me with 4k, and now I have equals 9. And to get k by itself, I just divide by 4. So now when you do this, you have k equals, if you're using your calculator, 9 divided by 4, you can't do that. So you just hit math, enter, enter, and they'll want you to leave the fraction as 9/4. Or if it's a griddable one, they're going to have you grid 2.25. So you would grid a 2, a point, a 2, and a 5. Okay, for number 2, I have solved for x. So I'm going to draw my bars. First thing I'm going to do is distribute. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 8 is 16. And it equals 7 plus 2x. Okay, from here is combine like terms. So when I look at the left side, nothing will combine. When I look at the right side, nothing will combine. I'm going to move my smaller variable. Well, the variables are the same, so it doesn't matter which one you pick. You're going to subtract them. 2 minus 2 cancels and leaves me with 16. 2 minus 2 cancels and leaves me with 7. 16 does not equal 7, so this is a false statement, so my answer is no solution. Okay. Moving on, step 3, they just want you to write the equation that represents the second step of the process. So remember, your first step is to always distribute. So 4 times 2x, that becomes an 8x. 4 times 7 becomes a 28. Bring down minus 6, and this equals 3x. Okay, so I filled this in. Their next step, what they did was move the x over, which that's not the order I would go, but that's the step that they're wanting to see. For number 4, the formula to find the lateral surface area of a cylinder is S equals 2 pi RH. Given the surface area and the height, write an equivalent formula that could be used to find the radius. So we're looking for R. Okay, so that means I want this letter by itself. Now, if I look at this formula, 2 pi R and H, they are all touching. So that means everything is being multiplied. In order to get rid of multiplication, you just do division. And you can divide by all things at the same time except for the letter you want by itself. Okay, when I divide by 2 pi H, the 2, the pi, and the H cancels. And I'm left with R equals, I keep the S over, and it just stays 2 pi H. And that would be my final answer. Okay, moving to problem 5. Justina and Ashlyn were working on a homework for their Algebra 1 class. The first problem that they had on their homework was to solve the equation -2 times 3x minus 4 equals -2x plus 2. Justina's work is shown below. Ashlyn notices a mistake in her work. I want you to find where her mistake is. So we're going to work this out. -2 times 3x is -6x. -2 times -4, that is not -4. -2 times -4 is a positive 8. So I already have a mistake. So the mistake comes in step 1. Okay. Moving to 6, the perimeter of a rectangle can be found using the formula P equals 2L plus 2 width, where P is the perimeter, L is the length, and W is the width. Find the length of a rectangle, so we're finding the length, with a perimeter of 30 meters and a width of 4 meters. So I know that P equals this, and I know that W equals that. So what I'm going to do is just plug in those values. So we're going to do 30 equals 2, I don't know length, plus 2 times width is 4. And now this is just an equation you need to solve. So I'm going to get 30 equals 2 length plus 8, because 2 times 4 is 8. I'm going to minus 8, and that gives me 22 equals 2 length. I need to divide by 2, so length equals 11, and this is measured in meters. For 7, they want to know which equation is true for all x values. So you just need to solve these and find a true statement. Okay, when I multiply, I get 2x plus 2, and I have 2x plus 2. For this problem, in order to get x by itself, we're just going to subtract 2x. That cancels and that cancels, so I'm left with 2 equals 2, and that is a true statement. Okay, now I'm going to move to the next one, and if you look, you already have 2x plus 1 equals 2x plus 2. There's no distributing, there's no combining, so I'm just going to move my variables. 2 minus 2 cancels, 2 minus 2 cancels. I have 1 equals 2, and this is a false statement. Over here, when I minus my 2x, that cancels, and I have 1 equals 2 minus 2 gives me 0. This is a false statement. When I distribute on this side, I get 2x plus 2. Over here stays 2x plus 1. I now move my smaller variable, but since they're the same, 2 minus 2 cancels, and I'm left with 2. 2 minus 2 cancels, and I'm left with 1, which gives me a false statement. So the only true statement is A. Okay, flipping to the back, solve the following equation for the value of x. First thing I'm going to do is, if you need those bars, draw them. We're going to start with distribute. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times negative 2 is negative 4x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x, and negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Nothing can combine on the left, and nothing can combine on the right, so I skip step 2 and move to step 3. Move the smaller letter. Well, the smaller letter is this 4x. So that cancels there and leaves me with 8 equals, this becomes x plus 9, or 1x if you want to write 1. I subtract 9. That leaves me with negative 1 equals x. Now, for my regular students, remember you can check this with the calculator, and you would do 2 parentheses 4 minus 2 times negative 1. Close that parentheses, see what you get. Negative 3 parentheses, and since it's x, parentheses negative 1 minus 3 close parentheses, and my answer should be the same. If they're the same, then I've got it right. Okay, 9, the formula of how far a moving object travels in terms of the rate or speed at which it moves and the travel time or how long it moves is d equals rt, where d stands for distance, r stands for rate, and t stands for time. Rearrange the quantities in this formula to give a new formula for travel time in terms of distance and rate of travel. So in other words, they want me to solve for t. So I'm going to take d equals rt, and I want to get t by itself. Now, for this question, remember, r and t are touching, so that means they're being multiplied. So to get rid of it, you just divide. When I divide by r, that cancels. I can't actually do distance divided by rate, so I leave it alone, and now it's in the terms of t. For number 10, the equation 2w plus 5j equals 60 is used to determine the number of water bottles w and the number of juice bottles j that can be bought for $60. If you purchase 4 juice bottles, how many bottles of water can you find? So we have $60, which that's what that says. And we have 4 juice bottles. So we're going to plug 4 equals J. So I'm going to take that formula, 2W plus 5, but instead of J, I plug in with a 4, and it equals 60. Now I just solve the problem. So I get 2W plus 20 equals 60. I now must subtract the constant. That gives me 2w equals 40. And then my last step is to divide by 2, and that gives me w equals 20. So I could have 20 bottles of water. Okay, this video is timed, so I'm going to stop this one, and I'll finish in the next one.